Hi, we're here today with saxophone player Doug Moffet. Doug is a much in-demand live performance and recording session player. He has recorded with many artists such as Vince Gill, Amy Grant, Faith Hill, Keith Urban, too many to name. 35 of those recordings have actually gone on to receive Grammy nominations in all different styles as well, not just country. So tell us, Doug, how did you get started playing music?
Well, it was summer of third grade, and my parents brought me to a demonstration for various professors, teachers, private teachers were demonstrating the various instruments, saxophone, trumpet, flute, violin, cello, and they let the kids pick what instrument they wanted, and I picked saxophone.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Did you go on to school for that?
Well, you know, from there I went to Madison, Wisconsin, studied with Fred Hemke, teaching assistants, and then I went to Interlochen Arts Academy and studied with Fred Hemke himself. And then that led me down to University of Miami, where I got a chance to play with a whole bunch of great saxophone players. And at that period in time, University of Miami had some great saxophone players. So I learned a lot from everywhere I went, tried to pick up a little here and there.
Yeah. Well, Doug, besides being a fantastic performing artist yourself, you also teach. Tell us about your studio and what the kinds of things that you do teach there.
I only teach one day a week. I try and keep it down. Keeps me fresh at teaching.
Sure.
So I have about 4 students at this point right now, and most of them are beginners.
Okay.
And so the beginner students, it's a challenge to find interesting books for the beginners to be able to play and still enjoy playing.
Sure.
So 2 of the books I could recommend would be 11 Duets for the saxophone, and another one would be 101 Easy Songs for the saxophone.
And where can you find those books?
I usually get my kids to either buy from the music store that I teach at, or you can get them online.
I'll get the Mel Bay site.
Sure, Mel Bay side.
Cool.
Yeah. Came up with a bluesy lick that would apply to a D7 chord. It kind of hits heavily on the +9 note on top, which is the minor third, the blues note. So those notes are A, C, D, F, D, C, A flat, G, F, D.
So, Doug, when people think about Nashville, they think of fiddles and banjos and guitars and that kind of thing, but there's also a huge music scene besides the country and bluegrass. Tell us about that and your place in it.
Well, over time in the recording history of music in Nashville since the 50s, the recording studio scene has really blossomed. There's literally hundreds of studios here in Nashville now. And many people will come in from out of town, try and find a studio, and then over time they've realized that, well, we might need to add a horn section here on this thing, and so they start calling local guys, and over time they've realized that, you know, they can rely on calling the local Nashville players, horn players, to cover some of these things that they've been producing.
Very cool.
So over time, you know, I think it's more the producers knowing about the good horn sections that are available in Nashville, and maybe not so much the general music populace.
Sure.
You know, it's amazing the wide variety of music we get ourselves into. It's
very true.
It's being a horn section guy. You get to float around and play a wide variety of music. So I've been very lucky to be able to play with some really great horn players. They've taught me a lot.
So Doug, I understand that you are also a Yamaha artist. What does that mean exactly? What does that entail?
Well, playing on the wide variety of projects that I've done, you can start getting attention from the various manufacturers. And I became interested in the Yamaha brand because my baritone saxophone playing buddies were switching over to the Yamaha brand, and you know, I thought they sounded great and they're easy to play.
Yeah.
So I started visiting Yamaha and talking with them, and you know, discussing, you know, how I might be able to, you know, get a Yamaha horn and everything.
Sure.
And so, you know, we started talking, and I visited them a couple times, and you know, it's basically an exposure thing for both Yamaha and the artist. And I've been happy so far. I play a Z model tenor and a 62 model baritone saxophone and a custom alto saxophone. So I've been really happy with, they record really well. It's funny how when you get a mic real close to the bell, it seems to pick up the Yamaha sound and just the saxophone sound easier. Some of them, the other brands, the sound spreads out and it's hard to get that full sound when you're close miking, when you have a close miking situation near the bell. I've always been happy with the way the Yamaha saxophone recorded, so I've stuck with it.
Well, Doug, tell us about some of the future plans that you have for yourself as an artist.
Oh, just to basically keep on plugging, playing the saxophone. I really enjoy the wide variety of music I get the chance to play, and the great horn section, horn players I get a chance to play with. It's taught me a lot. I'm starting to branch out now that I'm getting to a older age, getting into refacing mouthpieces.
Interesting.
Which is where you take a file and sandpaper and start working on mouthpieces. So I've been, you know, learning that, buying all the great mouthpieces out there and studying them, measuring them. And I hope to eventually get into that end of the business, to branch out as much as possible, just like some people get into arranging, some people get into producing. You know, that's just another thing to add on to the, you know, onto the income that comes in.
Well, Doug, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.